Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadari Yashoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Mission Pad Paramahamsa Parivrajapacharya Ashtatara Srimad Bhakti Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Paramahamsa Parivrajapacharya Ashtatara Srimad Bhakti Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Mukund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Ganga Yamuna Maya Ki Jai Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai New Govardhan Dham Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. Take over to Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th canto, Liberation, chapter 10, the pastimes of Lord Rāmacandra. And I'll read the verses up to 8, and we'll chant 8 together. I believe he ended So today's 4, 5, 6, 7, then we could chant 8 together. So this is 4. To keep the promise of his father intact, Lord Rāmacandra immediately gave up the position of king and, accompanied by his wife, Mother Sītā, wandered from one forest to another on his lotus feet, which were so delicate that they were unable to bear even the touch of Sītā's palms. The Lord was also accompanied by Hanuman, king of the monkeys, or by another monkey, Sugriva, and by his own younger brother, Lord Lakshman, both of whom gave him relief from the fatigue of wandering in the forest. Having cut off the nose and ears of Shurpanakha, thus disfiguring her, the Lord was separated from Mother Sītā. He therefore became angry, moving his eyebrows and thus frightening the ocean, who then allowed the Lord to construct a bridge to cross the ocean. Subsequently, the Lord entered the kingdom of Ravana to kill him, like a fire devouring a forest. May that Supreme Lord, Rāmacandra, give us all protection. In the arena of the sacrifice performed by Vishvamrita, Lord Rāmacandra, the king of Ayodhya, killed many demons, rakshasas, and uncivilized men who wandered at night in the mode of darkness. May Lord Rāmacandra, who killed these demons in the presence of Lakshman, be kind enough to give us protection. O king, the pastimes of Lord Rāmacandra were wonderful, like those of a baby elephant. In the assembly where Mother Sītā was to choose her husband, in the midst of the heroes of this world, he broke the bow belonging to Lord Shiva. This bow was so heavy that it was carried by 300 men. But Lord Rāmacandra bent and strung it and broke it in the middle, just as a baby elephant breaks a stick of sugarcane. Thus the Lord achieved the hand of Mother Sītā, who was equally as endowed with transcendental qualities of form, beauty, behavior, age, and nature. Indeed, she was the goddess of fortune who constantly rests on the chest of the Lord. While returning from Sītā's home, after gaining her at the assembly of competitors, Lord Rāmacandra met Parshuram. Although Parshuram was very proud, having rid the earth of the royal order 21 times, he was defeated by the Lord, who appeared to be a Kshatriya of the royal order. So if you could please repeat after me. Yaha Satya Pasha Parivita Pitur Nidesham Strainasya Chapi Shirasa Jagrehe Sabaryaha Rajam Shriyam Pranayinaha Surido Nivasam Tvaktva Yayau Vanam Asun Eva Muktasangaha. Ya Satya Pasha Parivita Patur Nidesham Stainasya Chapi Shirasa Jagrehe Sabaryaha Rajam Shriyam Pranayana Sarado Nivasam Tvaktva Yaya Vanamasun Eva Mukta Sangaha Ya Satya Pasha Parivita Pitur Nidesham Stainasya Chapi Shirasa Jagrehe Sabaryaha Rajam Shriyam Pranayina Surado Nivasam Tvaktva Yaya Vanamasun Eva Mukta Sangaha Ya Satya Pasha Parivita Patur Nidesham Stainasya chapi shirasa jagrihe sabharyaha. Rajyam shriyam pranayina sarido nivasam. Tuktvaya yavanamasu nivamukta sangaha. Any online persons like to recite?
Ya satya pasha parivita pitur nidesham. Strainasya chapi shirasa jagrihe savaryaha. Rajyam shriyam pranayina surito nivasam. Vatva yayava namasu nivamukta sangaha.
What about tapas? Are you going to chant tapas?
I don't think he's online.
Oh, he's not online. Okay. Canada. All right. Okay, so if you could please repeat after me. Yaha. Lord Rāmacandra. Lord Rāmacandra who? Satyapasha parivita pitahu. Of his father, who was bound by the promise to his wife. Nidesham, the order. Strainasya, of the father who was very much attached to his wife. Cha, also. Api, indeed. Shirasa, on his head. Jagrehe, accepted. Sabharyaha, with his wife. Rajam, the kingdom. Shriyam, opulence. Pranayanaha, relatives. Suridaha, friends. nivasam, residence. Tuktva, giving up. Yayao, went. Vanam, to the forest. Asun, life. Eva, like. Muktasangaha, a liberated soul. Translation. Carrying out the order of his father, who was bound by a promise to his wife, Lord Rāmacandra left behind his kingdom, opulence, friends, well-wishers, residents, and everything else, just as a liberated soul gives up his life, and went to the forest with Sītā. Purport. Maharaj Dasarath had 3 wives. One of them, Kaikeyi, served him very pleasingly, and he therefore wanted to give her a benediction. Kaikeyi, however, said that she would ask for the benediction when it was necessary. At the time of the coronation of Prince Rāmacandra, Kaikeyi requested her husband to enthrone her son Bharat and send Rāmacandra to the forest. Maharaj Dasarath, being bound by his promise, ordered Rāmacandra to go to the forest, according to the dictation of his beloved. And the Lord, as an obedient son, accepted the order immediately. He left everything without hesitation, just as a liberated soul or great yogi gives up his life without material attraction. Om Agarita Vedandasya Garanjana Shlaka Chakshuvanmalita Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Galita Vachalam Pagamalanga Tegirim Yakripadamaham Vande Shri Gurun Denitaranam Vanchakapadra Vishta Kripasandabevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, translation once again. Carrying out the order of his father, who was bound by promise to his wife, Lord Rāmacandra left behind his kingdom, opulence, friends, well-wishers, residents, and everything else, just as a liberated soul gives up his life, and went to the forest with Sītā. So what are some points we could learn from this purport? Don't promise your wife anything. Don't have 3 wives. If you have 3 wives, but if you don't have 3 wives, if you have 2 wives, the same problem may come. So don't have 2 wives, don't have 1 wife, don't have a wife, then you don't have to fall in this situation. Don't become implicated in such things. And we could see that that's the real issue in the world. We become implicated. We become entangled in the complexities of the material world. And as Srila Prabhupada coined the phrase one time, I mean, he repeated it a number of times, but he did coin the phrase. Women are good, men are good, combination, bad. That's Prabhupada's, he coined that. And this was after Srila Prabhupada's, he coined this later in the Hare Krishna movement. And seeing his experience, based on his experience dealing with so many devotees and them having so many problems, they're very good as a brahmachari, they're very good as a brahmacharini, but then they combine in bad. And therefore, at one particular point, Srila Prabhupada said he really didn't want to be involved in sanctioning or such marriage ceremonies because of that. Of course, we understand that this isn't an absolute statement, and that there is chance of things working. But the general tendency in the material world is that the mixing, they tend to spoil each other. Spoil each other in the sense of encouraging each other in Maya or forgetting Krishna. That's a general tendency we see. And materialists who Srila Prabhupada said are like who work hard like dogs so they could enjoy like pigs. That's what he said about materialists in general. They can't even begin to understand this point, that the combination of men and women causes suffering. They can't begin to understand this point in a practical sense. And even our devotees, even our own devotees, our brahmacharis, our grihastas, unfortunately sometimes even our sannyasis, have a very difficult time understanding this point. And that is seen in their attachment, grossly or subtly, to the opposite sex. Very difficult for people to understand this point. That it's entangling, that it causes suffering. And therefore Srila Prabhupada, he really stressed that one should be careful. Not only brahmacharis, not only everybody, grihastas, everybody, women, everybody should be careful. Writing in the 7th canto, he said that a society that allows free mingling between opposite sexes an animal civilization. So Srila Prabhupada said. So, and we see this in the 9th canto. This 9th canto gives us a very clear picture of the complexities or the difficulties or the dangerous nature between free mixing of male and females in this world. We have King Sadyumna becomes a woman. We have the downfall of Sarbari Muni. We have Rāmacandra here also. I mean, of course, it is the Leela of the Lord, but still, as we'll see in tomorrow's verse and in coming verses, there is mention of that these pastimes, like right here, so much suffering. Dasharath and Kaikeya and this whole promise, and then he didn't want to do that at all. That was the last thing, that wasn't even on the list. He didn't want to do that at all, send his son Rāmacandra to the forest. It was so difficult for him that he actually died right after, left his body out of separation. So see the man-women entanglement there. And also tomorrow's verse, we'll hear about that with Rāmacandra and Sītā. The Prabhupada comments on it. So you have that, you have Pururava and Urvasi. And this canto, I mean, of course, when you hear about Pururava and Urvasi, she's from the heavenly planets, and he's a mortal man, right? And clearly he's very attached. And some people would argue, can you blame him for being attached? Maybe it's easy to reject this mortal woman, that mortal, so many mortals, right? But when you're talking about a demigoddess, and not only that, but one of the best demigoddesses, Urvasi, but he was very attached. But it didn't turn out to be a happy situation. It was so much suffering. He was suffering. And there's a whole song about that in the 11th canto, the song of Pururava, and actually how he realized it. So And then you have King Yayati also in this ninth canto. So you have so many cases, and they're all dealing with a similar point. They're all dealing with a similar principle. And yes, this is the sad history of the universe, not only of modern history, but of the universe. This unnecessary attachment, which I don't wish to get into any details about right now. So, but this ninth canto, it is preparing us in this way, preparing us, purifying us to see face to face the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the smiling face of Krishna, which we are approaching soon, the 10th canto. And we should always, so we should pay very close attention to this 9th canto and the message of this 9th canto and take it very seriously. And understand that it is very expertly, most expertly communicated by Shukadeva Goswami for a very important reason. Preparing us, purifying us to eventually see Krishna in the form of the 10th canto. It is not an accident that these things are there. So if one wants to awaken their love for Krishna, if one wants to become attached to Krishna, then they must give up this other attachment. There's no way around that. And Krishna will help us with that. When I joined, we were in the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So I've almost made my way through a whole, what do you call? Cycle, yeah. Of course, I haven't made my way from first canto to the 12th canto, but hopefully I could do that. So yeah, it takes around 20 years. It's a long, huh? Really? How is that? Because 10th. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Yeah, because I shouldn't underestimate. We still have all of this, and we still have the 10th canto. I think I'm forgetting exactly where we were. So, all right, not so easy then. Sorry, you're gonna have to stay around a few more years if you want to go through the whole cycle. So yes, we'll continue with the Leela of Rāmacandra in the upcoming classes. Lord Rāmacandra ki jai. Does anybody have any question? Comment?
Hare Krishna. First thing that came to mind, do you know how many couples Srila Prabhupada married?
No, I'm not sure.
Do you have a guesstimate?
I'll guess off the Vyasa. No guessing on the Vyasa. Speculation.
Does Dravida Prabhu know? No? Okay.
I don't even know if anyone knows, but I mean, Srila Prabhupada comments about it. He had a conversation one time, and the topic came up of divorce, which, by the way, within the International Society of Krishna Consciousness Worldwide, we're not much better, if not the same, than the rest of the world. But unfortunately, need some more training in the marriage department or some whatever it is, I don't know, but not my department. But the topic came up of 50% divorce rate. I think it's, what is it now? Is it supposed to be higher? Is it higher now? What do you mean? You know? You want to look it up?
Yeah.
Anyway, so Srila Prabhupada joked and he said, yes, this is the problem. When people marry, they lament. They think, man, I should have just Oh man, if I didn't marry, I could have just been free. But now I'm not free at all. But then when people don't marry, they think, oh, I should have married. If I would have married, I would have been happy. So this is the... yeah, anyways, I don't know how many ceremonies he performed, but there was a lot of devotees, quite a lot of devotees all over the Hare Krishna movement, and yeah, a lot of them were getting married. And that is the general tendency we see, and that's fine. I mean, according to people's nature, people act. Sometimes it's just a person's nature. But when we hear about this in the 9th canto, when we hear Srila Prabhupada's sarcasm or his strong statements regarding these topics, we should, we should see it in a way that he's warning. If a person gets involved, you have to be very careful. If you don't have to get involved, okay, great. But if you do get involved, men or women, it's a warning. And you have to be very intelligent about that and very careful and take a lot of guidance from those who have dealt with it. Yeah, so.
Actually, one more thought. So are arranged marriages more successful than, I don't know, ones done by attraction? Do you know any statistics on that?
Anyone have any?
Yeah, outside world.
Anyone have any
or
idea?
Inside out, whatever.
Anyone have any idea about that?
I've never heard any calculation. I have my own suspicions, but I've never heard any like statistic or anything.
He's saying he's never heard any statistic. He has his own assumptions, but he hasn't heard any statistics. I mean, of course, if something's based on just physical attraction and some like that, then, I mean, what can you expect? That's talked about in the 10th, 12th canto. People will unite, sometimes marry, sometimes not, on the basis of physical attraction. This is never a good... I mean, there's always surprises, but at least the Vedic system is, interesting enough, actually the most traditional form of arranged marriage is that you don't even see the husband or the wife before the marriage. You actually just see him at the marriage ceremony. Can't even see, what does this person look like? Nor the man nor the woman. They have no idea until they... So you can imagine at the marriage ceremony, maybe some people may not be so happy, whatever. But that's the most traditional form. Now, going a little further, then I think, they would see each other before speak or this or that. But a lot of this arranged marriage was based on astrological calculations, reading charts, and based on the general nature of the men and women. There's a whole science behind that, matchmaking. Of course, that could be a little challenging in the modern day because sometimes couples, they become attached to each other, which I mentioned before recently. They become attached to each other without reading the astrological calculations. And then once they read their charts, and then they find out, oh, we're not such a good match. So what to do? They're already attached to each other. So you get another reading. Not so good. The third reading, okay, not so good, but it could work out. All right, we'll go with number 3. Yeah. So, yeah.
Part of it's the saying that opposites attract, so usually with someone that's maybe not so compatible.
Opposites attract, and then they repel. Yeah. All right, any other question? Comment? Vanessa, you have some?
I do.
Okay.
I was like, obviously the point that you brought up, taking from the purport, about having many wives or making promises that we can't, we don't really desire to keep. I was thinking about the lesson of hesitation. So it says Lord Ramacandra left everything without hesitation.
Mm-hmm.
So we can see the Lord has no desire to hesitate, on anything.
Yeah.
And, like when we see with, Yudhishthir, he hesitated and saw hell. And so that's something.
Yes. That's a great point that's brought out, or that could be seen in the verse in purport that Ramacandra, he just left everything on the order of his father without hesitation. He just left. Just as a yogi or a great devotee gives up his life, right? That's what it says. Liberated soul gives up his life. So it's something that we have to work on, I would think, to different degrees. How hesitant are we to serve Krishna? How hesitant are we to serve the devotees? How hesitant are we to take risks for Krishna, to try to do something for the benefit of others? How much are we holding back? Srila Prabhupada said that if we surrender 20% to Krishna, he will reciprocate. If we surrender 50%, 60%, 80%, he'll reciprocate accordingly. Ye tamam prapadyante tam sataiva bhajamiham. As they surrender to me, Krishna says, I reward them accordingly. So based on our hesitancy or our lack of, we get awarded by Krishna in different ways, different things. And without learning how to give up our hesitancy, we actually can't make much advancement at all. Practically, largely our ability to advance is our ability to accept opportunities to advance by giving up our hesitancy. Just like book distribution, it's a difficult thing. Anyone who's done it knows it's difficult. But one has to give up their hesitation in order to execute it, and then one can get the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda, by that, giving mercy to the conditioned souls in the form of transcendental knowledge. But hesitancy has to be given up. What to speak if you want to join a brahmacharya ashram? What to speak if you want to take sannyas? What to speak if you want to, etc., etc. Everything we have to give up our hesitant nature. So, yeah. And sometimes people, they don't think that they could do it. That's another part of the problem. Like Srila Prabhupada would say, I think also our buddy Napoleon also said, impossible is a word in a fool's dictionary. Just think, we cannot do this. It cannot be done. But we should not underestimate the power of the jiva, of the soul, being part and parcel of Krishna. The soul is not all powerful, but the soul is very powerful. And the tendency to think we cannot do something, I can never be Krishna conscious. I can never give up this bad habit, that bad habit, this addiction, that addiction, whatever it is. I can never become a pure devotee of Krishna. But we're underestimating the power of the soul, which is part and parcel of Krishna. Mamai vangso jiva loke jiva buddha sanatana. Krishna is all powerful. The soul is also powerful. The soul is as brilliant as the sun. So the obstacles that are in our way, can be removed by the mercy of Krishna, by the mercy of the devotees, and by ourselves acting on our real nature of the soul. And we should think that we could do it. And as one person said, I'm forgetting the name right now, but there's a quote, and the person said that we should understand that if we are thinking that we cannot do it, that this thinking, and they particularly said this small thinking, is not going to help the world. This type of small thinking is not going to help the world. I cannot do it. I can't be Krishna conscious. I can't control my mind. I can't control my senses. I can't. This small thinking is not going to help the world. What's going to help the world is big thinking, as Srila Prabhupada said his disease was. He said, my disease is I do not think small. So my disease is I think big. So anyways, thank you. Vanessa?
Yeah, thank you. I like that. We should think that, engaging the soul in that way, connecting that without hesitation. Thank you.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. All right, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.